Ahoy! Cello, cello. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Before things start getting rolling, yeah. What's going on, guys? So I'm trying to market the TikTok, or I'm sorry, the interview a little bit. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a banner right here. So that is an option. I do have another option, however, above the chat up here. How do we feel about that instead? So I can get rid of this one. I feel like you can't really see the part that says like join the Discord from the one up there. So I'm kind of torn. Do we want banner down here or up here? Like, what do we think is better? Or, oops, wrong thing. Or I can just do this on the side over here. I kind of hate that it has my logo under my logo though, so we could do that. I know this isn't what you guys signed up for, but all right, we're gonna label this one number 1. Okay, this is gonna be number 1. That's gonna be number 2. Okay. That one up here is gonna be number 3. Why do you guys really, you think having them there and there is good? I almost wish the other one, number 1 could be smaller. Or I'm sorry, thinner, like these other ones. Oh, I wonder, the side looks the best. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. But now I'm thinking, hold on. I swear we're gonna actually talk about Critical Role in just a second. What if I took this? Where's the rotates? How do I rotate? Where's the rotate? What if I took that and ran that up the side? No, I don't like that. All right. Get rid of that. What's this one up here? Rid of that one. Oh, no, we just don't care. No, I know. So I'm gonna go with, yeah, we're gonna stick that right there. That's what we'll do for now. Oh, let me remind everybody in Discord. Also, we just got somebody new in the Discord, so let me say welcome to them. Let's hit the live noties here for that. Schemers finale, guys. We are in for the Schemers finale. I like it on the side. Yeah, we'll stick it over there. Wait, they got released today, Paul? I didn't see that. Also, hello, Kelsey. Hello, Mama Hun. Hello, Paul. Hello, Taryn. Famine. Double. Austin. Hello, Biko. I did not know that. So, yeah, I will have to do that. I've gotten so many questions already from, like, Reddit and my YouTube post and the Discord and stuff like that. That it is quite a bit. How many chats do I have going? 2 YouTube chats, a TikTok chat, and a Twitch chat. So 4. 4 would be accurate. Well, where do I need to move that way? Hey guys, call me crazy, but I think about be interviewing Louise Krause in the near future. Yeah. It's supposed to happen tomorrow, but we may push it back to Saturday because he may have a gig or a fitting for a gig or something like that. So, wait, what? I didn't see any of that. How did I miss all of those interviews for? Oh, Temple of Geek. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that in time, because yeah, but I will see what I can do. Yo, what's up, Chicken Wizard? What's up, Tabasco? Yeah, Alex did, and I wanted to post a video about it, but I knocked out some other stuff today that I needed to do. I created my overlay for the interview with Azune. And stuff like that. So I worked on some other stuff today. I got a sponsorship post knocked out that I needed to do. And so I didn't end up getting that video, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, guys, tonight should be good. Everything's kind of built up to this moment, right? Like all of the Schemers arc has led us to this moment where there's assassination attempt on King Gus. And I feel like this sets up whatever happens in the future. Right? Like, is Dalmakiar safe? Can any of these people stay in Dalmakiar? Or is it now a war between kingdoms? Right? Is Timony without a leader? Right? All these things we're gonna figure out tonight. So very exciting episode potentially. What's up, Batson? Your generation of multitasking. Well, I mean, all the chats are put into one thing. So. Not a big deal with that. What's up, Sunken Train? Rubber Room Rat. Was that the map sponsor? Yes. Well, it's a lot. The whole thing is a lot more than an app or a map thing. Describe has descriptions you can use. It has a whole audio system, and all those things. But it's too much to talk about in a short form video. And being able to show multiple things off. So on that video, I focused just on the maps. Soldier's Table will show at the end of the episode. Oh, you think at the end of the episode, the soldiers are going to show up? That would be interesting if, like, we actually got bits of the other tables tonight. I don't even think it's, like, that unlikely, actually. Now that you mention it, I wonder if, like, the first half will be the Schemers and then we'll kind of get into some others or do something like that. I'm not, like, 100%, right? Like, I'm not going to lock in on that idea, but I could see that. So do you think after the break next week, the play will take 2 to 3 episodes? I don't know. Part of me wonders. So I think I had this conversation last night. Part of me wonders if we'll get the play tonight. Like they'll do, you know, because we're already at the gala and there's about to be potentially a combat. And then there's post gala. The next day is Photarch meeting, play. So unless the gala takes hours of real time, what if they actually do the play tonight? Everybody's tonight, because we've all been under the idea that everybody will be back for the play, like all the players. But what if they're not? What if they all show up after the play? It could happen. So I'm very interested in that. The combat, yes, it's going to be very interesting, Paul. They can low-key kill the Photarch if they lock in. If they just, like, don't focus on anything else and King Gus joins them, maybe. We don't know how strong she is. We know Lady Cormorant is, you know, double-digit CR. So if she matches that or is higher, then, yeah. Can be silent because of mutual destruction. Yeah, it's definitely an option shifter. Terrence says, do we think we get to opening night tonight, or is that going to happen while everyone's back in tomorrow? So that's exactly what I was just talking about. I'm unsure. Nightwolf, what's going on? This episode really will have some huge waves for the rest of the campaign, I feel. Yes. So the other groups found stuff out and are coming back with some information, but I feel like this moment could lead to, again, nations at war, right? Like, could how you have the Cormorant showing up to confront the Taconis. You have the Halavars meeting with King Gus to confront each other. You have an assassin potentially from Argosia showing up to try to kill King Gus, right? There's so many things happening right now that have like massive implications for just like the story at large, like the world at large. So many things. Parody Steve in regards to the assassination says, do we know he's targeting King Gus? So wouldn't be Chavez station. So the only reason I feel that we know it's that is because they wrote it in one of their things. I don't remember if it was the recap. I don't remember if it was the lore drop that they did, but in something they specifically said, like, assassination attempt on King Gus. And I said, oh, well, that spoiled that. I think I might have said it on stream a couple nights ago that I feel like they kind of spoiled who was that crossbow aimed at because it was written somewhere. Now, maybe it's somebody who didn't actually know wrote it, but it was written somewhere. Really been enjoying your content and watching you grow as a creator. Been very inspiring and insightful. Thank you, Bats, and I appreciate that. Thank you. So tonight is the end of the arc. Yes, Sunken Train. Tonight is the final episode of The Schemers. And I should, as you guys see here, I should be interviewing Louise tomorrow unless we push it back to Saturday. So I might have some new questions for him after all of this. On one hand, I'm excited to see where everything goes, but on the other, I miss the Schemers already. Well, maybe we'll get some of the Schemers. Maybe they're not all together. Maybe they split up. Plus, they're not going anywhere, right? Like, you know, we don't know how many episodes it'll be, but for at least an episode 2, 3, whatever, it's going to be kind of like the Overture was. Players are going to be coming and going at the table. So, could be different. Schemers get saved by soldiers. That would be interesting. But then the soldiers would have to be in the city at the gala. Just wanted to say, what up? Running to Taco Bell. Be right back. Sounds good, dude. Get me something. I think Thimble will pop in at the end and the rest will remain outside the city. I was going to say they can't all just be inside and at the gala. Like, they're worried about just stepping in the city, and yet they're supposed to get through the security and everything else to get in the gala. I don't think so. It would be funny if Wick and Tyranny roll up after the Schemers have slaughtered a bunch of Halavars. That would be interesting. I hope it's another 5 hours. If it's a good 5 hours, I'm all for it. Pirating in regards to the soldiers, they said that it's Belair who needs to sneak Thimble and Co back into the city. Yeah, I think they were talking about that he probably has passages, ways that he sneaks artifacts in, and so they wanted to talk to him about that. Rick says, if they followed up on the Augustus plotline earlier in the timeline, we wouldn't have had the attack. But we don't know that. That's a huge assumption, Rick. Like, if they had gone to him and said, hey, there was, and because really, what do we know? We know that what the people working for the Draconis, one of them said to the other, do you think the Argosians are going to pay him a visit? And one of them said sooner rather than later, and then they laughed maniacally. That's all we know, right? Like, that's it. So if they would have told him, hey, watch your back, the Argosians might be out for you, that doesn't mean he still doesn't show up to confront the Halavars. Maybe he has an extra guard or two or something, right? But I don't think that stops necessarily this from happening, because they didn't have any hard proof of anything. All they had was somebody laughing after saying sooner rather than later that the Argosians might pay him a visit. So I don't know. I think all the tables come together for the play. Completely possible. I think the play has to be an event for the entire group of 13. Okay. Did you see Tim Blumke's interview with Alex about Octus? It was really good. No, I didn't. I didn't even know about it until like 10 minutes ago. People in chat told me, because I'm supposed to interview Louise, and then they were like, oh, go watch that because, you know, he just answered some questions. So now I have to do that at some point between this, watching the episode, taking the notes on the episode. Yeah. I don't think the play will happen after this combat. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't go straight to it. They all gather to face Primus for the big showdown. Pre-show, what's up, Toast? I can't fathom the play happening tonight. If we get to play tonight, I'll eat my hat. There you go. There you go. You're going to put your hat in you. Belair can sneak the soldiers in as the whole city would be at the hallowed. Well, yes, but you're talking about during the show. During the show, yes. I was talking about during the gala. I think House Halavar will close the theater based upon events that happen at the gala. Ooh, so maybe the show never happens. I feel like that would be heartbreaking for Hal. Not only Hal, but Liam. Sorry, guys. I'm catching up on chat. Parody Steven regards King Gus. And if he is the target, what's the status of his Duchess and his heir? Also, very good questions. Like, where are they stationed right now? Rayam says, so I forgot where I heard this. I think just a short, so don't know context, but Risha said something like, what would happen if I wore the mask? Tal just said, that can work. I have plans for it. Yeah, Tal has outright stated in a different interview that he wants a player to put on the mask. Also, or presumably also there with the Gala. I don't remember if it was described as such, though. They said that they saw him and some of his guard or something like that. I don't know if they said that or if I missed it or not. The play has been built up so much, seems too good of an opportunity to bring all the tables together. Yeah, again, and it's lining up timeline-wise, so it's completely possible. Shifter says, I'm predicting that there's going to be a battle of Damaciar. Oh, is that Damaciar? And that might be the next overture type moment or table switch up once again. I could see that. I could see it being like the first battle of the new revolution or something like that. Yeah. I definitely feel like the play will be a major event. I feel the blood paint will unleash Taconis Undead, causing the tables to split again. My thing, though, like if that's the case, why did the Aussie... So if you're thinking that it's going to bring Undead or whatever... Hey, Daniel, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Oh, I need to figure out what alert, because that was very low and it's being blocked by this banner. Sorry. If that's the case, right? Why would Thiazi be like, hey, Hal, take this paint and use it if it brings the undead from the Taconis? Right? Like, that doesn't line up for me. Attempt. Don't write the king off yet. We don't know how powerful these... Oh, I don't think he'll die, and I don't want him to. Where do we ask questions, actually? There's a channel in the Discord. If you are marked as an actual play person in there, right, when you chose your options, D&D actual play, there's a channel literally called Louise Questions. So you just join the Discord, go to the Louise Questions place and post there. Right, Taliesin had that really high roll, and he was told. Also, congratulations for finally getting an interview. Yeah, I know, right, Sunken, thank you. Thank you very much. Felix made clear the crossbow was aimed at Gus in the episode, but that could have been the Mandela. Yeah, I don't think it was clear in the episode. It was just that you heard the snap of a bolt. They never even saw who it was. But it was then outed in something. Chronologically, I think the soldiers arrived the day of the play, so I don't anticipate them popping up in the Gala. I don't think they're going to be in the Gala either, Cameron. Yeah, I don't think they're there yet. Lethalin, what's up? Welcome in. Now, the photographer is definitely going to demand house play ends with the protagonist saying, "May the beam reach you. Yay, Contessa Creed." Those exact lines. Undoubtedly, those exact lines. Oh gosh, it just hit me that if a fight breaks out at the play, this will be the second time Belair will witness theater as violence. We know Taconis' leader killed Julian's dad. Yep. I feel like Gus would have to be pretty strong to be a ruler in Armagh, knowing Sundered Houses are pretty strong as well and haven't tried taking over Gus's kingdom. Well, they're doing it in a different way. They're just not doing it by force, right? Like, they're doing it with the religion and stuff like that. I don't think the schemers could have prevented the assassination attempt. They didn't know enough. Exactly. That's what I don't think they could have done that. Sir Nerdalot, what's up? I've really liked schemers, all the small things, gathering allies in the secret words. Yeah. No, it's a cool thing. Their whole arc has been good. I think I'm just, again, if tonight is good, which I expect it will be. I really do. I think tonight will be good. If it is, I think they're the best arc for me. Like, I think I could already say they're the best, but it will be an easy they're the best if tonight is good. Yo, what's up, Debs? Welcome in. Matchstick Malone says, I seen you on D&D Discord. Oh, where did you see me on there? Oh, and King Gus, he seemed to be in the city to specifically confront the Halavars about the crap the Contessa Creed is pulling in his kingdom. Seems weird to bring his sister along and heir along if he knows that. Yeah, I would also say, I think he wanted to bring it up because he was riding up to meet with the Lord's Advisory, right? So we probably went to them to be like, yo, we need to talk. And then he was like, fine, I'll go to the Halavars myself, right? That's what I'm expecting is he was like, all right, these guys aren't being helpful, so I'm going to do that. Also, Daniel, I got distracted when you did the $5 super chat, and then I realized I didn't read it. I apologize. Daniel's super chat said, timeline says that Hollis's mistress comes back to the city a day after the opening of the play. Who do we think the mistress is? I am mind blown. Nobody asked. Nobody said, what's your mistress's name? Who's your mistress? What does your mistress look like? Nothing. Nothing. This guy said my mistress like 5 times and nobody asked anything about it except for like, can we meet her now? Like, will she come to the play? Will she come to the gala? Right? Like, that's it. I'm like, hello? Somebody ask who the mistress is. Do you think Brennan is setting up Timony being the group's main ally nation? Could the Kingdom of Timony be the new heart of the rebellion after the fallout from whatever happens at the play? Potentially, but that would be very contrary to their idea for what they want to do, right? They want to do this sort of revolution that has a face, but it's a fake person, right? It's not like it's a person tied to the ideology and they're claiming is the leader, but there isn't one. And if they like united with the whole nation, then it would feel a little different. I agree, Nightwolf, on the party member putting it on. Matchstick Malone, I'm unsure about that. I would definitely check the Unearthed Arcana and read through that. Her sister's also very powerful. She probably is. She's probably got some power. Oh, yo, what's up, Bull? Welcome in. I think it will steady his resolve and make sure he is focused on overthrowing the Sundered Houses. I know I'm behind on chat, guys. It's just the way it goes, so please bear with me. If you watch the intro tonight, you realize it makes more sense regarding the Gala in the play specifically. Yeah, did you leave that comment? Somebody mentioned that. I don't remember where, if it was a comment during a live, that the intro now makes sense given this, right? Like the whole they're at a play, they're wearing masks makes more sense because of the Gala, so. Random clarification question, but wasn't implied that with the crows gone, all the schemers things became next to impossible to do fun, or did I misinterpret that? Why would that do that? I'm still wondering if the payment will work with the theater's location during the hallowed rounds, and maybe it will be to try and reopen Fairy. Yeah, I'm so confused by the paint. Somebody had a really good comment on one of my videos, and I don't remember exactly what it was now, but it was kind of like, if the night song's purpose is to guide people to the afterlife, and this is the photo negative, right? Like kind of the opposite of it. What if the paints are to bring people from the afterlife back? Sorry. That's an idea. Even though the night song, you know, has some like, oh, you can speak with them and blah, blah, blah. That would be an interesting thing. Somebody threw that theory out there. Until last episode, when they said he referred to the paint as a gift, I thought the paint was an undead thing that he wanted them to hide, but calling it a gift doesn't make sense with that theory. Yeah, that's where I'm not sold on the idea that like this is actually like some thing he's trying to stop the Dakotas from using, and he's doing all this stuff. I forgot to do this. What if it's some weird way for Theozy to bring back Falconer's rebellion members and coincidentally himself, not like a full resurrection or August situation, but something weird all the same? Piratey Steve says, the paints had auras of conjuration and necromancy. What if an opening is ripped to Tenebrous reaches, but it's the souls of fallen orcs that come through? And what happens when the orc spirits hear the inspirational clash of the pariah blades? What if those things all work out perfectly? Swallow D's, hello, welcome in. Gus is going to be a big chess piece. We protect Gus. We have a very large ally who is already semi-allied with the Hounds. Yeah. No, he is allied with the Hounds. Like, the Hounds work for King Gus. Like, that's not a semi-allied. They are his people. As far as the... Oh, wait. Schemer started very slow, but has gotten so good. Easy, my favorite arc so far. I don't even think, personally, that they started super slow. For me, at least, right? Like, you know, different strokes for different folks and interpretations and all that sort of jazz. But I enjoyed them a lot. As far as the blood paint bringing undead, I feel like it's more of a door. Theozy might have known that what the paint is for and is the key for him to return or a way to reach Dakonis. Yeah, that's more so where I'm leaning with it. Your 2 cents on the whole rebellion setup part of the last episode. I mean, I did a whole review on the episode. If you haven't watched it yet, I did my recap and then I also did my review. Um, I like it. The episode was just long for what it was. You know, in my review, I basically said it's a good episode, but it's the weakest of the schemers because if you have a bunch of categories, was it the funniest episode of the schemers? No. Did it have the biggest reveals of the schemers? No. Was the pacing great? No. Like, or was it the best paced in the, no, right? Like, it just doesn't win in any categories. It's just an episode. It's a fluff episode. And that isn't a bad thing. I'm not saying that's bad, but it was a good episode, but it was also the longest while the least amount of big things happened. It was just a bunch of small stuff, which is cool. But that's kind of how I saw it. I love them setting up the rebellion and having the phrases and the bird and all that's cool. It's just not big. It's big in a small way, right? Does that make sense? So that was kind of how I felt about last episode. Still liked it. It was just, to me, the least enjoyable of the schemers. And that, again, I even said in my review, it makes it sound like I didn't like it no matter how many times I say I enjoyed the episode. It was just the weakest to me. But I think partially it's because it was 5 hours long. Yo, what's up, Mira? Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you enjoyed the Cyberpunk. I still prefer the soldiers for the roleplay and randomness of NPCs, but schemers has been quite good. Yeah, I think we've had some fun with NPCs with the schemers, not as much as the soldiers did, but I think the interactions between players and all that has put the schemers a little bit higher for me, I think. I think it's felt the most natural. I'm now getting a whole Return of the King good guy orc ghost guy army from reading this chat. Austin says, that's my players when I describe the shiny thing in the corner of a room. Could Mara be Hollis's mistress? I don't know, because I think Mara got captured. Didn't they say the Falcon is at the manor? Like Oberdemir Manor or something like that? Wasn't that said between the two people when Dimmitus was hiding in the closet? So I wonder if she's, Mara's been captured for a couple of days. And I don't know, I got more like creepy, fairy, wild person who's not from around here but is interested in the faiths. Yeah, that doesn't strike me as Mara. That strikes me as something else. Jackson Bacon says, currently making a Power Ranger D&D campaign. How do you Megazord combat? All players together. Yeah, I don't know. Make them different limbs. Give them each like a choice between 2 or 3 abilities. Something like that. That's just off the top of my head. Yeah. In regards to the mistress, Parody Steve says, Lomi would explain why she's in no shape currently to a 10. Enmity, she's out hunting Wit currently. I think more along the lines of Lomi, but I don't think Lomi. Because Lomi wanted people to, like, ingest, I feel like. And this person likes introductions and knowledge. So, Sir Nerdlaw says, if King Gus dies, they could use it as leader of the rebellion, martyr type stuff. True. Swallow says, how big of a statement do you think the play will be? More surface level that hides some identity, or the biggest middle finger to the Sundered Houses? I think there's going to be some subtlety to it, but it will be stuff that will basically like help incite the community of Dothraki. To be elements, some kind of gateway to paint that is, yep. Parody Steve says, Crow Keepers disbanded on their own or by the hand of ticked off members of the House Taconis. I personally think they actually did just be like, hey, our whole structure has broken. We're just going to end it. But that's just my take on that. That night thing that's got bones in the paint, maybe mixed with the blood. I don't know. What are the chances of someone dying? I want to see some real guesses. I don't think anybody's dying. If you're talking about players, I think the first players will die either once everybody's back at the table or once everybody's split up again. I'm still pretty sold that nobody's dying during their first arc. Absolutely love the hounds. Me too. AVPH says, for the name of the mistress, I think Brennan was trying to get the players to ask, but the players didn't want to know the name and wanted to meet the person in flesh. Yeah, that's what he kept being like, my mistress, my mistress. And I'm thinking, like, if I was at the I'd be like, who is your mistress? And nobody asked. Is there an idea that the paint is made with filament? No, I've seen people say that, Pac-Man. Everything to me says it's the blood from the well in Tanazar, because we know Mara went there. We know the stuff was destroyed. We know all that. The guy says we ruined it, but it deserved it. Everything in my, like, it's one of those things when people say, like, I think it's filament, my brain kind of freezes, because I'm like, how? Everything. I feel like there's like 78 points that point to it being Asgra's blood well from Tanazar, and yet people are still like, nah, I don't know. I'm just like, ah! Yeah. New animatic with Zune was cool. Yeah, that was super cool. Dispel Logic did a great job with that. Fed and the chickens are in the coop for the night. I am ready. Let's go, Chicken Wizard. Very fitting to your name. Chickens are in the coop for the Chicken Wizard. In regards to the schemers, Party Steve says they had to get the lay of the land politically before they could safely set actual schemes into motion. They had to seek some answers, then scheme. What would happen if Belair's mask ended up on Octus's face? I would imagine Belair would, if Octus failed, Belair would be in control. He just wouldn't have to feed him. Last week was slow. It was necessary for setting up this week, but it was not a great standalone episode. Exactly. Yo, what's up, Kaylee? In regard to Murray's invisibility, do the King's Hounds have the scent ability? Invisibility might not work, but then again, Martin might recognize her scent and remember her from the 7 stars. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised nobody went in there and like used anything to try to see her, but yeah. In terms of the hounds, I meant the hounds were allied with the party. I know they were forget. Oh, gotcha. Einra says, what about Wick's sister? I don't think so. I think the mistress is somebody we haven't met. That's my take, is the mistress is somebody we haven't met and is from somewhere else, right? He said she's not from around here and she's very interested in the faiths. So, yeah. Those are all my guesses. Also, if anybody is new here and hasn't already clicked that sub button, click that sub button for me. I would much appreciate it. Oh, Winclair, welcome in. Do you think there's any serious dangers for the schemers tonight? They've been getting away with everything so far, but I'm worried they're going to drop the ball. I mean, they could end up imprisoned. They could end up with the people thinking they're the bad guys in this situation. I don't know if they're at risk of a player death, but I think there's tons of risk, yes. Nurik says, in other news, after listening to some recent interviews, I'm now firmly in the category that the Aussie isn't as much of a nice guy as represented by Brennan. Not evil, but not necessarily good. Really? Was it the interviews that from Temple of Geek? Because I haven't watched those yet. I just found out about them when I went live. Yo, what's up, Monday? Over on TikTok. If there haven't been PC deaths so far, I doubt it will happen tonight. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I think the Mistress is another one of Belair's siblings. Ooh, you think somebody's... one of his siblings got onto somebody and is doing that. See, not being all good. There's no shot I thought Brennan would make the Oz anything other than a hero to some and a villain to others. He's definitely going to be complex. Oh, no doubt. I'm so tired. Can you remind me who Hollis is? Hollis was the, like, halfling dude who fades into shadow if he stops moving. Like, the pale, ghastly-looking halfling that, detect thoughts at the same time Belair was detecting thoughts, and they went in and talked to him and he said his mistress and all that. Plot twist, the mistress is Valus. Never. Frank Martin, welcome in. I think the intro is the play I didn't realize till last episode. I wonder if there are hints, and yeah, somebody said that earlier as well. It makes a lot more sense now that you see everybody with the masks and dancing and yada yada. Could she be the mistress? I don't think so. I am firmly under the belief that the mistress is not somebody we're aware of. Narvelin, welcome in. Says, I wonder if the mistress is another of Belair's siblings. Yeah, somebody else just said that. You're definitely part of it. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Did you see the animated short by Spell Logic? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. He, when I was live streaming the other day, he came in and we talked about it. He was trying to figure out how to do that scene where Azune is supposed to be naked without being naked because, you know, YouTube, you can't, like, post that in there. But they nailed it, so. Piratey Steve says, in regards to Belair, Taliesin gleefully reminded everyone that the mask was the one who let Bayless into Damakiar into the city, which means he knew her before that started the campaign. Or at least knew... Yeah, well, he definitely knew her before the start of the campaign. Yes, yes. Bull says, would the Aussie find more of the masks? He might have found, yeah, he might have already found one or two. He, of course, it's very possible he also knew what was in the coffin, right? He might have known that. Deb says, it was interesting to see which god masks were handed out to each character by Belair for the gala. Meltar, Nerd Mother, welcome in over on TikTok. I fear for the opening night if they make it. I don't think Gus is going anywhere. Yeah, I hope not. I hope not. I thought the intro was always tied to the play at the Howled Around. Yeah, well, they're all wearing masks now, and they're all wearing masks in the thing, so it could be either, right? It could be the gala, it could be the play, right? Yo, what's up, Kevo? Suppose the Photarch could be Hollis's mistress, but that seems almost too obvious. Yeah. Mistress definitely a Fae or Archfey from the Hallow. I lean more towards that. Do you think the Photarch will shut the play down? I think that would be such a crazy thing. I don't want to write it off, but that would be such a crazy thing because I feel like Liam's been building up to this so much, and to just be like, actually, no, that's not happening, I feel like would just be wild. Estrella, what's up? Welcome in. This episode is going to go crazy. I think so. I think so. I think we're about to have a crazy landing of the Schemer's arc. I think it's about to be a wild one. Denathrin, welcome in. I know this is a bit of a long shot, but what are the odds that Primus shows up with one of his nifty little candles at the gala? And then everybody who dies there ends up being a part of whatever he's trying to do? It'd be crazy. It'd be a little wild. Have you been told how many masks there are? I can't remember. 5? It's 4 or 5. I don't think they will. Something bad think is going to happen to his daughter, though. Stressing. Think we get the first player death? Kind of hope so. I still don't think we're going to get one during their first arcs. So I think once they split up again, death is going to be a lot more on the table. I think the Photarch is going to try and make House censor the play. Yeah, well, probably, yeah. But we don't know what the play is, right? So it could be if it's, we're like, okay, they're gonna have to censor it, but we don't even know what the play is. So it's a little bit harder to really guess without knowing what it's about. What's everyone's snack of choice tonight? I've got barbecue chicken pizza. That sounds delicious. Yeah, guys, throw whatever snacks you're having for the episode tonight. Throw those in the chat. I got these nice grain-free Mexican shortbread cookies, but I don't want to eat them on stream. You guys saw I ate like 2 or 3, but I tried to like sit back so you guys weren't hearing me crunch and whatnot. 6 total, right? Oh, was it? I'm sure it's 6 masks total. Okay, so if Famine and Daniel both say 6, then probably that. About to make some edamame. Nice. What's up, Boneyards? I don't think Primus Ticonus will show his face again for a while, to be honest. Didn't they were told that he was showing back up, like the day of the play, right? He specifically, like, the Einfosens were told that he was showing back up a day after where they are right now. Yo, what's up, Allie? Welcome in. I'm specifically here for Crunch ASMR. All right, well, just for you. What's up, Robin? Or on the flip side of that, it's just one of the Folk Heart's bodyguards being ready in case King Gus gets wild. Yeah, the reason that I don't think that's it is because it was written somewhere. I'm going to try to check. I don't remember if it was in the Lore Keeper's Ledger or what. It was spoiled somewhere that the... All right, so here it is. From the Lore Keeper's Ledger. The story right now. There's a crossbow bolt aimed at the heart of the King of Timony Hey, Daniel, thank you for the super chat. Korthorai, the play, is supposed to be on the retelling of an older Orcish rebellion that failed prior to the Shapers' War. Okay. So, tied to rebellion. So that makes sense. Yeah, aimed at the heart of the King of Timony, and our heroes have only seconds to act to stop a political assassination. So unless the Lore Keeper's ledger is wrong, they're trying to kill King Gus. Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but let me. This is the Shaper information. If you guys hadn't seen it, we have Salandri, the Green Mother, goddess of life. Children were the elves. Tanzul, the Bright, god of the sun, shaper of humans. Trosna, the Skilled, goddess of the forge, shaper of dwarves. Illumi, the Weaver, goddess of the moon, shaper of gnomes. Rawin, the Trickster, goddess of luck, shaper of halflings. Asgra, the Conqueror, god of war, shaper of orcs. Amra, the Hunter, god of the wilds, awakener of the beast folk. So there are some additional details, if you guys didn't know it, about the Critical Role shapers. All right, let me try to catch up on this. Yo, what's up, Emma? Ooh, just doing that, I went pretty far behind. Theater of the Mind pretzels. What? Weird question. Do we know if undead and Armon are typical undead? I think for the most part. Double says the Photarch said she wanted to go over the script for the play to make sure it was kosher. I think Wix showing back up will put a stop to any attempts to shut down house play. Yeah, she might be distracted if that happens. Shifter says, I'm having Sloppy Joes and root beer. Not the best combo, but it's dinner and a show. Honestly, I would eat that and drink that. Preferably diet root beer, though. Planner's trail mix with M&M's. I'm making my customary giant bowl of popcorn. Let's go. Nurik, in regards to Theosophy, says, I definitely think more and more that house play is going to be co-opted by Theosophy with the play, especially since he gave no prompting for what it should be used for. Can't tell how, but still. Yeah. Completely possible. I do think we're going to have crazy stuff tonight, and we're going to have crazy stuff at the play. So we got some crazy stuff into some crazy stuff. Parody Steve, in regards to snacks, haven't eaten all day, soaking popcorn bowls and pain currently. Was thinking about just getting a loaf of French bread and chomping all that all night. All right. Boss brought back some olive oil from her vacation, so I have been snacking on bread, oil, balsamic vinegar, tomato, and feta. Well, a nice little dish there, Sherry. A little fancy. B2M2948, hello. My snack of choice is pizza bread bites. Amount 50. Proud of myself for making these so good. Ooh. Not a snack, but about to cook myself some taqueria chicken for dinner. Winclair says, if Brennan the Schemers land this, it has potential to be some of the best episodes of Critical Role D&D since Calamity Finale, in my opinion. Wasn't expecting to love the Schemers as much, but now they're my favorite. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people were kind of in that boat. There were the people who said, like, from the get-go that they were looking forward to the Schemers. I think, myself included, there are also quite a few of us who have been very pleasantly surprised by the Schemers. Now, I have thoroughly enjoyed the Schemers. And I didn't know if I was going to. So, it's been very nice. It's been very nice. Emma says, hey, my cat Gus has been pacing for the last few hours. I think he's scared for his majesty tonight. Yeah, King Gus. Got materials to make basic nachos, too. Nothing wrong with some basic nachos. Vincent, welcome in. I think it might be a Taconis assassin. I don't think the Photarch would put herself in the line of fire for an assassin. I think it's an Argosian assassin, right? They saw the Argosians slip off. Hal downstairs saw the Argosians slip off, and then this happened shortly thereafter. And the Argosians are the people that the King of Timony broke away from, right? He rebelled in the War of Axe and Vine and took Timony for itself from the Argosians. So that's my guess. Yo, what's up, Mount? Greetings, everyone. I just finished last hour of last week's episode. I'm excited about this one. Let's go. Taryn says, we got our first mention of the Beastfolk Shaper we've been speculating about last week, and he's the only one not named a Shaper. Yes, because he didn't create beasts, he awakened them, right? Is kind of the difference, right? Like, each of those Shapers, like, created, like, the humans, the elves, the dwarves, whatever, whereas he just awakened beasts. He gave beasts, like, the humanoid sort of properties. But I like that distinction. It's cool. Paul says, I frankly will be ticked if they waste a lot of game time on telling of a play. I don't need long monologues, etc., just real gameplay. Yeah, I think there will be a description of what it is, and hopefully it is, like, brevity is important. I would agree with that. I don't want to just watch somebody describe what the play looks like. So tell me the big plot points, that it looks cool, that it has great acting and strong performances, you know, fine. But yeah, I'm semi-convinced the mistress is a hag of some sort. I could buy into that, Rick. Yeah, I could 100% see her being like a hag. Winclair says, King Gus is so cooked, I don't think there's any way he's getting out of this episode alive. I believe. It's interesting that the Beastfolk are awakened rather than shaped. Okay, yep, just mentioned that. And then given intelligence and souls. Yeah, I think that's basically how that worked. Denathrin says, I stand by my theory that the paint, now that we especially know it's the blood of a god who shepherds souls, it will be maybe protect a hallowed round from undead from going in or allow Thaz to come back. Parody Steve in regards to the Shaper says, yeah, I was hoping for some info on when or in what order they died. Shaper's war lasted 9 years. Yeah, we talked about that before. It would be really cool. It would be really cool to figure out, like, which gods, you know, when did they each get eliminated, taken out of the picture. Megan, what's up? Are the talking dogs in the category of Beastfolk? I don't know if the hounds are. I feel like they're not. I feel like they're more of like a reincarnation in like a unique way due to an oath of loyalty. I don't know that they're like outright like that. Because I think the awakened are like the lion folk. They stand on two legs. They walk around just like all these other creatures are like bipedal. They do their thing. But then the hounds are like, no, we're dogs, dude. So I don't think so. Whose story are we most excited to see going forward with the next arcs? The Lettuce Dragon, welcome in. I want to learn more about Cadigan. I want to know where Tayor's powers come from. I'm still intrigued by Wick and his whole thing with his family and how he's going to handle that. The Golden Orchard. So if like Julian and Thimble decide to go to the Golden Orchard, I'm interested in that. Not necessarily them, but in that. Favorite character at each table, least favorite, then most potential. Julian's my favorite with the Seekers. Soldiers is probably Wick. Schemers is probably Azune. I don't know. It's Azune, Murray, and Belair. I enjoy all of them for the different reasons. And then Hal has grown on me a lot. Anybody who's been here for a while knows that during like the Overture and stuff like that, me and Hal were not homies. I was like, no, Hal, like, what's going on here? Hal has grown on me a lot. So definitely getting more into that. So there's my favorites at each table. I don't know about least favorites and most potential right now. Anybody else feel free to answer though. Australia says, I'm kind of newer to D&D. What are the chances Julian can use the Stone of Night song to speak to his dad? It would depend on if damage was done. So basically this can't be injured to the point where people can't speak. So if the body still has all of this, it should be fine. Also, it depends because the Stone of Night song Speak with Dead works very differently than the traditional Speak with Dead. Like in traditional Speak with Dead, you don't like enter some afterlife space and like pull people in and do all that. Like, yeah, so it's a little different. So it's hard to answer that question because it's a little bit of a homebrew with that. Beastfolk would include the name, the nom of the bullfolk. Yeah. Just made smoked Gouda mac and oh, that sounds so good. Daniel says, my favorites, Cadigan Soldiers, Octa Seekers, and Azune Schemers. Yo, what's up, Big Bunky? Welcome in, welcome in. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna try to catch up on chat. Boarded Indian food, and we'll have some samosa. Oh, let's go. Indian food sounds good, too. I love good, like, chili chicken and stuff. Daniel says, least favorite is Tierney, Taisha, and Murray. AVPH says, need a cold open of Lady Royce and Julian in the Golden Orchard. Oh, like before all this happened? Piratey Steve says, least favorite is Wick, Taisha, and Murray. I'm surprised to see the Murray hate. Again, I don't think you guys hate them. It's just like if you're choosing least. I think Julian's dad is long gone. Don't think Speak with Dead will work with him. Most favorite, Tierney, Julian, and Belair. It's interesting that, like, that's so wild to me that, like, you dislike, or Murray's your least favorite, but Tierney's your most favorite. Because Tierney is, like, just so chaotic and, yeah, I don't know. That's just, I wasn't expecting that. Calorie counter here. Might snack on some boom chicken low cal. Oh, that is pretty good though, to be fair. I've had that. Big Bunky. Comrade Bobcat, what's up, dude? Welcome in on Twitch. Do you think this episode or arc will end with the play, or will the play be the reunion splitting? So we talked about that earlier. I think it could be either or. It's really, do we think that all the players will be back for the play? Meaning the arc ends tonight. So basically, will tonight include the play? You either think that the play will happen only with this group still in the city, or you think it will happen when everybody's back. I lean towards everybody's back, personally. But even everybody showing up doesn't mean everybody will be able to get to the play. So it's a little confusing. Famine says, as a lore hunter, I was excited for the concept of the Seekers and was let down. Figured that the Schemers would be interesting, but they have met and exceeded my expectations. We thought we would get Julian and Cold Open last week, and we got Thimble again. Maybe this time we finally get Julian. Yeah, I agree. I was dead set we were getting Julian last week, and then we got Thimble again. We saw Thimble like 2 weeks ago. But they also said in the Lore Keeper's Ledger, fun fact, that the Cold Opens are all kind of recorded on their own, and then they just decide which episodes to place them in front of. So it's not like they record the Cold Open and then do that episode. They just go, hey, here's 7 Cold Opens we've already recorded. Stick that one on that episode and that one on that episode, and just kind of do it that way. Emma says, if Gus dies, can Belair somehow take his body and bounce? Push him into a cupboard after a lethal blow. And just, well, if he's dead, I don't think so. I mean, the person has to be alive. So if he got low, maybe Belair could jump on his face and do something like that. I really want the king to survive and get out, but I don't think if he's dead that anything can happen with that. Maybe show the actual lines that activate whatever big magic we all know is coming. Otherwise, just summarize. Yeah. We believe in King Gus. I do. No way that the hounds allow Gus to die. They will throw themselves in front of any attack to stop that. I'm with it. AKA Flop says, crazy thought. Brennan once talked about Tolkien orcs. He wanted to tell a story about some of the orcs didn't want to serve Dark Lords. I'm interested to see if he applies that logic to undead. That would be a tough one. I don't see that. That would surprise me. Dancing Gnome, first time chatter on Twitch. Hello. Also, I saw you join the Discord. Welcome in. I think Brennan is going to let the dice decide how and if NPCs die, even if it's temporary. It would be truer to the LARPing storytelling. Yeah, I mean, I think it's completely fair that an NPC is more likely to die than a player character. Tonight, for sure. Like, undoubtedly. Rick says, Gus seems to me a level 15 or to 18 fighter, based on nothing other than the fact that he's really cool and buff. I agree. Winclair says, what's been your favorite episode of Campaign 4 so far? Favorite episode of each table? I can tell you the Soldiers episode that had the rabbits in it was my favorite episode all the way up until the Schemers, and I still think it might be my favorite. And then, was it 2 episodes ago? Was probably up there with that one. So maybe episode 23. It was either 22 or 23 I really liked. And then I think it was episode 7 or 9 that I really liked. For the Seekers, I don't know. So I've got a dip coming on 2 a.m. Hey, no worries, Taryn. Thanks for popping in. Estrella says, I love Cadigan and his role play is strong, but it definitely feels like his character is more willing to take the back seat for things. Yeah, he is slow rolling Cadigan. Robbie is no doubt slow rolling Cadigan, sharing his story, getting him involved. But I think it's cool because then we're eventually going to see, again, that's part of this. This thing's going to last a long time. So to me, having characters that are everything's face value, cool, fine. Having other characters that are contrasted to them that keep a lot of things close that we don't know as much about is exciting, right? So Wick, we know who Wick is, right? I don't think there's a whole lot of surprises with Wick. But then you have Cadigan, very different, right? Like those sorts of things are cool. Back to the 13 cast members at the table, correct? Yes. All 3 parties will be back on May 21st, is what they have said. Parody Steve in regards to King Gus says, another thing he's got going for him, the Schemers, I think they really bonded at the 7 stars. Who else of the Gala do they like? I'm sure there are some other people, maybe just not people of importance. Also, because we have a decent number of people in here, guys, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, if you like Critical Role, if you like Dungeons & Dragons and other nerdy stuff, click that subscription button. It's free. Doesn't hurt. You'll get to see more of me. I'll get to see more of you. Also, if you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up right below. There's a little thumbs up button. Go ahead and click that and type anything in the chat so it helps me with the algorithm. Say, NERDCORE, you're cool. Say, good luck in your interview with Louise. Say, I love you. Any of that, totally fine. Throw that in there to help with the algorithm. Thank you, guys. I'm interested to see what Wick does with his family. I want to see what happens with Julian the Golden Orchard, Octus and his family. Yeah, there's so many things with people that I'm interested in seeing. Yeah, same. I low-key couldn't stand how he was boring. He's grown on me since, but Murray, Azune, and Belair definitely on the Schemers table. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Hal has grown on me for sure. I like him a lot more. But I didn't like him early on. What? I can say that. Hey, thank you so much for that subscription. Thank you. Where's that? YouTube alerts. Let me move that right there. I really appreciate that. Smile pretty, and thank you for the subs, guys. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I think we need to death refocus the tables. I think it's a 0% chance. Anna, thank you. It will be a player death, but think Gus could be an interesting one. Theozzy was a good start, but we never knew him, so had no connection. Wow. Well, you guys listened this time. Heck yeah, David, thank you for the sub. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody with those, but shout out to you guys. Hal surprised me. Liam really knew how to play how well. My favorite character so far might be Cadigan. Parody in regard to Julian's dad. I believe his body's gone cleaned up by the Taconis. Yeah, they didn't like take him or anything, so that's true. He probably got removed. Julian's dad had his skull pulled out of his spine. I don't think... That's the other thing I was going to go for. It's like, is this okay? Because he had all of his stuff pulled out of his head. So probably not. Australia says, I initially didn't appreciate Azune as much because he came on strong emotionally in roleplay and I wasn't ready for it, but he's now my favorite character. Yeah, so that's one thing that some players love, the ability for people to, like, get into those emotions, which Louise is very good at. And other people, like, it's a little cringy to them. Totally fine. Totally fair for each. So you just got to be able to kind of bite the bullet on the parts you like or don't like, and then enjoy the parts you do. And as long as there's not too much of one or the other, you should be fine. Murray just feels one of the least emotionally invested and emotionally heavy campaign for me. Okay. No hate for Murray. She just comes in behind the other 3. She has some good moments. I love Murray. Thinking, what's up? Thinking makes it so. Welcome in. Winclair says, Murray's my goat. I love the way Marisha's playing her and her playing a high-end wizard. I think my favorites are Soldiers, Tyranny, Seekers, Octus, Schemers, Belair. I don't think I could pick least favorite, though. Okay. I think the play will happen during the second overture, to be honest. Yeah, I think that most people are leaning that way. Allie says, oh my god, I love Marie. She's adding so much light to all the drama. Yeah, I like her playfulness is quite nice. Parody Steve says, in regards to group reunions, I still believe the Seekers are farther out of Damakier than the Soldiers, who are right outside the city. I think with the, I don't know, Daniel probably knows, like, with the timeline that's out there, like the that somebody's put together. That it probably tells us where Seekers, while camping, Valus and Octus converse with Tertia via Speak with Dead, was on day 10, which is where they are. So I don't know. Maybe it is a little bit further behind, but I'm pretty sure they're about to just get back at the same time. That's just where I believe it's going to be. Reed, what's up? I'm hoping for a Julian update tonight. I think we can get that. DW, what's up? I think the dislikes come down to players that have a hard time sharing the spotlight. To give credit, most of the players are doing better at sharing the air. Yeah, I think for the most part, I haven't seen too much of like people really hogging the spotlight and like doing that, because I mean they all kind of know what they're doing and they have producers, right? I think some people forget and they think like nobody's there to like right the ship and like provide feedback, and they do. Like they have multiple producers. This is a show. This isn't a home game, guys, where like somebody's just keeps talking and nobody's there to tell them. No, they have people who are going to step in and be like, hey, this is kind of what we're feeling with this episode. This is where we're at. This is, you know, like this story beat needs to go more towards this, like those sorts of things. So, yeah. But as you said, I think it's been a pretty solid job for Zach. What's up, dude? Welcome in. I think most of my favorites are because I love most of the original players and love their characters, but Tyranny, Azune, and Octus I'm really loving. Bach, what's up, dude? Just saying hi, lurking mostly playing OG StarCraft. Okay, cool. Side note, the free D&D Beyond content is wild. Yeah. Nina, thank you for the follow on Twitch. When you're saying the free D&D Beyond content, you're talking about the stuff that they dropped today, like the drops, D&D Beyond drops, because it's free, but it's free if you're subscribed. Like it's another perk for people who have like the hero or master tier. It's not just like free to all, unless you're talking about something else. I switch your head, it hurts every time. I love those guys. Does anyone think that someone from another table will be there in secret at the gala, maybe already following the assassin attempt? That, I don't think I'd like that. Actually, I don't think I'd like that. Mal? And I don't think so. Emma says, last cold open felt retroactive, which was the first to do so. Like you said in one of your videos this week about what it was showing, it felt like the episode informed the idea for that cold open. Yeah, they kind of just matched them up with ones they think it will fit on. I will also say that whole cold open was, and I said this in my review, the whole cold open with Thimble there was literally just to say, this is why Thimble doesn't know everything. Right? Because when you hear all this stuff, we don't know what the Aussie was doing, the Aussie this, the Aussie that, you would imagine you just go, hey, Thimble, what was he doing? What was this? Where's that? How does this work? And that was the way for Thimble to not know everything and completely ruin, like, you know, whatever's planned. So, you know, hey, that works. His favorite is Taisha Velas and Octus. Favorite, Thimble, Tyranny, and Azune. So you just didn't like the Seekers. You're like, get the Seekers out of here. Chicken Wizard says, man, that episode with the gnomes or fairies that changes their faces was so cool. I loved it. Good luck, Famine. Absolutely love the cold open with the knife between him and Tayor. Oh, yeah, that was good. Yeah. Agreed. Regarding Brennan Lay the Dice decide, Gus dying will just depend on who can roll well and fast. Not good initiatives from memory, though. Yeah. Well, they didn't roll terribly. They just didn't roll great. And that doesn't mean the other people rolled great altogether, too. So, Nurik says their favorite are Wick, Julian, and Azune. Least Tayor, Valus, and Hal. Comrade Bobcat on Twitch says, I wonder if there will be a beat where the schemers will be forced to choose whether to defend Gus or the Photark and whatever scuffle unfolds. A real political catch-22. I mean, I don't think there is one. They would just pick Gus. Like, I can't imagine a world where they're like, oh yeah, we should fight Gus and save the Photark. Like, I would be so disappointed in them. I would be so disappointed in them. Nurik says the most interesting is Cadigan, Octus, and Belair. Anything in the chat? Thank you. Oh, I'm up to where all the subs happened. I need to catch up. We're about to go speed mode for catching up in chat. Loxley Plumber, thank you for typing in the chat. Can't wait to watch the interview with Louise. Thank you. I'm sitting here listening and reading, but also painting. I wouldn't say I like Hal now. I would just say I don't dislike him anymore, which is still really good. Totally fair, Green. I'm with you. You're all right. Hey, thanks, Rubber Room Rat. Stephanie Grushik, hello. I cannot be convinced that the blood they used in making the paint is anything but the blood that Thiazi had stolen from the Halovars that we learned about in episode 5. I went on a rant about this earlier, Stephanie. I would almost, I'm not a gambling man, but I would almost bet everything that blood is from the blood well in Tanazar. The Asgra's blood well or whatever in Tanazar that was like messed up and all that. That is what the paint is from. I would bet on that. Ira, what's up, dude? I'm happy that you finally managed to get an interview with someone on the Critical Role team. I was working hard for it, and it wasn't through Critical Role. I just talked to Louise myself. I made that video about how much I loved his choices, and he did such a great job in that episode with his mechanics. So I was like, he's a great role player, and he's playing the game really, really well. I responded to a tweet or something that he had made with it, and then we got to DMing each other, and boom. It's a cool guy. Party Steve says, a theory. It was how they had executed Thiazi acting like he's his brother. How, story. Yeah, other people have said that too. And that would just be insane to me. DML, welcome in. Something to say since last week the missing dragon house was confirmed by Zune's Dragon Tree tarot card and visions. The missing dragon house was confirmed. Do you feel that it was confirmed? I also think he's tied to a dragon. And I think that massive head, the thing like buried beneath the earth or sleeping in the earth, dragon. That's my guess. Lainey, what's up? I'm part of the Dungeon Master Watch party. Not for Critical Role yet. Just popped in to say hi and have fun. Thank you, Lainey. I appreciate that. Thank you. Emma Duke said, one potential positive if Gus falls, maybe we get more hounds joining the gang. I do love more hounds. Also, guys, if you didn't know, the Dungeon Master's actual play that D&D put on, Alex Ward is the guest star right now. So he was in last night's episode and will probably be in the next episode as well, for those of you who don't know. Octus is in another actual play. I'll be posting a video about it at some point, unless it becomes too late to do that, because I don't know when I'm going to have the time to do that. Narvelin, what's up, dude? While Octus is my favorite character right now, the story I'm most interested in is whether Thimble can learn to live again now that her revenge arc is done. True. She was very focused on that. I don't think we know how close the Seekers are. Jaya Briel? I hope I said that right. The Seekers had horses and are lighter. The soldiers have more cargo, no? Yeah, they have the wagon, the cart that they're pulling, yeah. I think it's no surprise most of my least favorite is from the Seeker stable. True. Dino says Seekers are probably farther away because they have to get back to Riesengirdle and then to Dalmakiar from there. They may also have to avoid Riesengirdle, take back roads. That's true, but I think they're supposed to get there together. Right? Like the idea is to kind of arrive around the same day. NERDCORE thinks CR is scripted. No, not necessarily. But watching CR for 10 years now, I'm genuinely blown away by Marisha this campaign. Even with her struggles to recontextualize the whisper she got last week, she has grown into an amazing player. Oh yeah, she did great. And again, I mentioned it in my video, and I don't know that it was like all on her. Like I think she tried to make that. Sleepstarve says, you honestly think they have producers telling them to move on with the story? No, I think that they have like, if somebody was really, right, I'm saying, like, if somebody was hogging the spotlight, I think they have people around them, including producers, who during the breaks between episodes would say, like, hey, tighten it up. Yeah, I 100% believe that. 100% believe that either people at the table give advice to them, or producers give advice that's like, hey, we need to get through that. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Very much during the overture. And that was even like mentioned, I think, by Marisha, that like there were times where it was like, we need to get this done by this point, sort of stuff. Like we have 4 episodes to knock these storylines out. So I think there is a degree of that. Again, I don't think somebody's like coming on a mic in their ear going like, hey, wrap it up, move on. No, I don't think it's like that. Hal is older, if I recall. Yes, Hal is older. Is he a hero of that war? He was in it. Who is your favorite NPC so far and why? Hawthorne, probably. Did you ever think about reaching out to the Evangelist folks? They had a big week for the internet. Yeah, I posted a short about that today, that they broke over 7 million and they still have like 27 or 28 days to go. I posted a short about that today. I've talked to them briefly. Like I chatted with, I've already forgot his name. This happened last time. One of the long-haired guys, like the brothers. I think the one who plays Chuckles. I don't know why his name is escaping me. He's like their CMO. I chatted with him a bit at Gen Con, and they sent me the Crooked Moon box and stuff like that. So maybe I could reach out and ask about that. Supposed to look that up as homework. Beyond subscribers, beta testing, everything now. Yeah. Ashley, what's up? Welcome. And my favorites are Cadigan, Murray, and Octus. Kevo says, what threads do you think the new tables will follow? I think Golden Orchard, Scheming, and Dhalmakiar, and depending on if Gus lives or dies, guard Gus or stop the uprising in Timony. I really don't know other than the Golden Orchard. Like, that's where my mind's at right now, is the Golden Orchard, because I don't know how many stories are going to come to a head tonight through the bringing the groups together, right? Because more things could kind of wrap up or conclude when all the people are at the table together, and therefore that story is over, and now they're not going to follow those, right? Some of these things relating to the Dakotas or the Halavars, the whatever. Again, I don't know that they're going to be completely wrapped up, but some of it could to a degree. Winclair says, I don't love Octus as much as everyone else seems to. Not sure why. I'm just not as emotionally invested in his character, though I'm intrigued by his whole storyline and all the Dakonis lore. I'm similar to that. I like him just fine, but like he's not like above and beyond in any way to me. Valus gives me low-key zealotry vibes with how badly she wants to return to the Eva Shaper. I want to see the story behind that. Yeah, I still have high hopes for Valus. I was a little disappointed after like the third or fourth episode or something like that, but I still have high hopes. My favorites are Azune, Octus, and Wakander. That is my thought too. The blood and paint was from that fountain. Yeah, that's what I think, Biko. The absolute power vacuum that will occur if Gus falls is crazy. Very true. Emma says, side note, another YouTuber I follow went to the YouTube Creator Con recently, and they confirmed that they are finally working on @replies on mobile for end of year. Fingers crossed. As in, like, in the chat? Being able to reply to people in the chat? Lettuce Dragon says, what, in your opinion, is Brennan's biggest strength as a DM in this campaign so far? I think he's done a great job with NPCs, and I would say he's solid with he's got great one-liners. Great one-liners. So I'd say he's had some really good dialogue in NPCs. Yeah, congrats on getting the interview with Louise. He's great as Azune, is just phenomenal player mechanics-wise and fantastic role player. Agreed. Do we know Azune Sorcerer subclass? No, but I think most people are believing, because his hit points ended up going up, that he's Draconic Sorcerer, and that also fits with all these other little things. And I think he kind of played it off like he was unsure and he didn't know, but this is like from the get-go, he was a Draconic, and there's some sort of tie to dragons and his life and history and backstory or something. That's my guess. Is Thimble's revenge arc really done? I would think she wants revenge on all the House Dakonis. Well, yeah, but it was more so like her big revenge arc was like, oh, he traded on us. Like the Aussie was supposed to survive, and he did this. I'm going to kill him. So, Sir Nerdalot says, Louise in Calamity opening is one of my favorite CR moments. A lot of people love that. Mikey, yes, Sleep Starved. That's what I was talking about, Mikey, yep. Let's see. Party Steve says, in general, we could see a full-on war between the Dakonis and Halabar families. I don't see how these big moves could be coordinated very well. Well, right now we're more likely to get something, an all-out war waged between like Timony and the Halabars and maybe whoever they sign up with, or the Cormorants and the Dakonis. Because remember, right now the Cormorants think the Dakonis are responsible for Lady Cormoray right now. So. And then they've been planting the seeds with the Einfosens that the Dakonis also did something at the Royce estate. Or the Plaza Divinos. So the scheming has worked decently because they have these sorts of things planned. To pin people against each other. Cameron says, King Gus has hounds, Felonious has hounds. Hounds versus hounds. My money's on the ones that can talk. Reed says, in regards to the Seekers, am I making it up that they maybe have a couple hints they maybe should not go back to Reason Girl just yet? Yeah, if anything, I would think they would go around it right now. I would think they would go around it. Favorite NPCs, either Two-Headed Pixie or the Red Cap. Fair enough. Hawkins is the best NPC in my book. Do it now! I loved Hawkins. Hawkins was amazing. Why do you think fans aren't connecting as much with Seeker's Table as the Schemers or Soldiers? Maybe because there's not any comedic relief characters like Tierney or Murray. I think it's definitely partially that. I think it was very slow. And not just in the storytelling, because the story, like the progression of them moving actually wasn't that slow. But it felt slow because every scene was slow, if that makes sense. Like, every time they talked, it was like this. It was slow, it was hushed, it was gritty, it was serious all the time. So yes, without the comedic relief, without the lightheartedness, it just felt like such a grind to get through. So that's part of why I think that is. And there was a lot of tension just amongst everybody. There was a lot of player tension and stuff like that. Not as much like coming together. The chemistry wasn't the best. The Schemers clearly had the best chemistry. I mean, without a doubt, the Schemers table has the best chemistry. JT Drummer, thank you for that follow on Twitch. Appreciate that. So those are my thoughts on Claire. Just a quick glance. I mean, I've shared more thoughts in the past on that, but just to not like stay on it for too long, that's my thoughts. Paul says, I also think Brennan has been really diligent about keeping players on track. For example, he stopped Belair's involvement last week when he tried to get involved in the Zune scheming. Yeah, pointing out like, this is outside, right? Like those sorts of things, yeah. But some of that is just as a DM, like keeping people on the rails that other players set. Like if this player says, I go out and have this private thing over here, and you didn't, and you're inside, then like, yeah, you don't get to jump in. You know, as a player, I love when DMs do that. Because I had a terrible experience once with some online game that I really wanted to play, so I joined it. Hey, Allie, thank you for the 5 gifts. If you guys got gifted a membership, Connor, Key2Key, or K2K, Samarin, some dude, Laurel, thank you, or, you know, throw a thank you in the chat for Allie for the gifted memberships. Thank you so much. Dang it, I don't remember what I was saying. I had this bad experience where, like, the party split, but the group that got to go first just got to basically teleport to where the rest of us were, even though we made decisions. Like, no, we want to go investigate this. You guys want to go to shopping? Fine, go shopping. We're going to go investigate. And then they did the shopping first, and the DM was just like, oh, okay, cool. And then the player just started talking like they were with us at the thing. And so I love when DMs kind of handle that. Like, no, they went over here by themselves and did this thing. You don't get to jump in. So I'm all for that. Thank you, Allie. Again, really appreciate that. Ashley says, as far as NPCs, I miss Dr. Stalter. Dr. Stalter was cool too. Yo, what's up, Mr. Malicious? Got the stream on mobile and my phone is dying. No. I really like Octus because he does a great job of describing his character's actions, really helps me envision the scene. Yeah, he does do a really good job of that stuff. Kevin says, I don't think the Seekers join back until the episode after next. One episode with the Schemers and Soldiers, and the next. It could be that. Could be that, or it could be like the first half is only one of them, and then a day goes by, and that's when the Seekers show up. I like Octus a lot, but I know I'm biased because I love Alex. Did you see that he was in the Dungeon Master's actual play? Yes, in the live chat on mobile, you have to type in the usernames manually. You think it's only on desktop, you can... Oh, okay, that makes sense. I actually did that earlier today and had to type it out. I thought my thing just bugged. Do you have specific questions in mind you'd like to ask Louise? Yes, and you'll have to tune into the interview to hear them. I have questions I want to ask, and then I also have so many questions from the community. I posted it on Reddit. There's a YouTube post that people can respond to. My Discord has a channel in it with questions. So I have a plethora of questions, and then my own ideas. And we'll see how it flows. You know, from talking to him, DMing back and forth, super chill, super cool guy that I wanted to be like 2 people hanging out talking about stuff while also me still being a host and an interviewer. So we'll see. Would the head of the Halavars have a contract with their nephew being connected to that contract? Have a contract with her nephew? Wait, whose nephew? Brody says there are a lot of story threads being weaved right now, 25 episodes in. Is there any single overarching storyline or event that you could point to leading to this reunion episode? House show? Yeah, that really seems to be the one that would bring them together right now. Yeah. Chitlolly, what's up? Welcome in. Have we figured out what Thiazi was up to with the paints? Nope. I think we know what they are. They're related to like the blood from the blood well in Tanazar, the Asgra's blood well, but that's about it. The stuff that claps, what's up? What player character in each party would you say fits the leader role? Seekers is going to be Julian or Taisha. I lean towards Taisha. Murray is probably Murray with Hal having the potential to take that over, probably for the schemers. And then Thimble or Tayor probably for the soldiers. Priority Steve in regards to Hal's book on masks will arrive in over a month, or maybe he'll find the one in Belair's apartment. Maybe he will. With the off week, will you do an what we know so far video or wait for the players to put it together? I plan on doing some stuff during the off week. So I'm going to have my interview with Louise going out, hopefully over the weekend. Depending, maybe it goes out tomorrow. I have my D&D game tomorrow too, and we're doing the interview like in the afternoon, and then I have to get to my game. So yeah, and then we might be pushing it back till Saturday, the interview. So I'll try to get that out. I'll have the recap for this episode. I have the review for the, I don't think I'll do a review of this episode. I will review the Schemer's arc. So there's already 3 videos. And then I'll also try to put something together of like, here's the first arc's conclusion, like, you know, main story bits or something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, I plan on trying to get several videos out, and I'll probably still do a live next week. Just doing like a off week discussion, kind of like a post arc discussion of what's to come and stuff like that. Don't know if this is because I'm also a DM, but every once in a while I'm a player and my PC is alone, but one of the other PCs interact as if they are there, I just go, oh, I'm sorry, PC, I didn't see you arrive. Fair. Dr. Caliban says, I like that Alex is playing the same character in Dungeon Masters that he played in the one-shot of Breed Team last year. Yeah. Well, so Christian Navarro is playing Elowin, which apparently was also in that. I didn't see that one, but so it seems like he's not the only one. They brought their same ones. But are you enjoying it? I'm enjoying Dungeon Masters. Monday says, I started watching Private Nightmares, and I love watching how Alex, Louise, and Abria are in that show. Dalgo, what's up, dude? Couldn't Gus be the one going to shoot someone? No. I read this earlier. It was somewhat spoiled in the Lore Keeper's Ledger. It is specifically written in the Lore Keeper's Ledger. There's a crossbow bolt aimed at the heart of the King of Timony, and our heroes have only seconds to act to stop a political assassination. Unless they're wrong. They could be wrong. What's up, WB? Favorite NPC from each table? Mine are the Hounds, obviously. Gotta vote for the Bird and King Gus. Yeah, mine is Hawthorne, if I'm going to be specific about the Hounds. I'd probably say Dr. Talter or the Giant Eagle. I'm also down for that. And then for the Schemers, I don't know, Dimidus is cool. Lamy was spooky. And King Gus is dope. So they've got some decent options. I apologize. I mean to say, do you think Wick's soul is connected to the contract that his grandmother made with the demon? No. Because I don't think he had to sign something for something like that. So I don't think so. Priority Steve in regards to off week. I've forgotten like 100 times more than I remember from what happened early in the campaign. Fair enough. Right, them talk about, yes, 100% there will be another tier list. So I did one after the overture. I did a character tier list, and so I will be doing a video ranking the characters again, and also, you know, showing like, here's where they were, here's where I'm going to put them now, sort of thing. So that should be exciting. That's another piece of content that I need to remember to do is a character tier list. Since the painting's laced with celestial blood, filament, and they use the paint to decorate the theater, how will that affect the landscape when all this goes down? I don't think that's what it is. I do not believe it is filament. I believe it is blood from the blood well. From the blood well in Tanazar, Asgar's blood well, which was not filament. Filament is like the special, or whatever is like the celestial blood they're taking out of angels or celestials. I don't believe the blood in the blood well was filament. If it is, then it's but I don't think it is. I am loving Dungeon Masters. I like how the players are balancing their dynamics to being a highly dysfunctional group and how well they're all up on the... Yeah, it's been awesome. I've really enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure I've forgotten enough that I could rewatch the Overture now and get feelings of surprise. No, I'm pretty sure that's most people. Like, if you went back and watched the Overture, people would be like, oh, I don't remember that. The creme brulee line was amazing. It was very good when he slid underneath. Yeah. So let's go ahead and throw it in the chat, guys. Do you think King Gus survives the night? Just give me a yes or a no. Do you think King Gus survives the night? I saw the one shot, the one with a couple of the same characters in Dungeon Masters the first time a few days before starting Dungeon Masters, so I got really hyped to see those characters. Hey, let's go. Yes, Connor, but it could be hidden as paint, right? So I can understand that part. This table is 100% my favorite. Let's go, Chelsea. Welcome in. You mentioned the Bloodwell. But what is the Bloodwell? Wasn't it repository for divine blood? So filament? I don't know if we know that. So I'm not sure. Like, I don't know if it was, like, it could be a god's blood, not a celestial's blood, right? I'm not 100% sure. I'm reading all these yeses and nos, and can I be super real with you guys? I don't remember how I phrased the question to know what yes and no means. I don't know if I said, do you think he will die tonight, or do you think he will survive tonight? So when you guys are saying, like, yes, I don't know which way it is. I'm sorry. Oh, make it a poll. That's why we keep you around, Connor. That's a genius idea. We'll make it a poll. Will King Gus survive the night? Yes. No. Here we go. We got a poll up. Answer the poll. That way I can not have to remember stuff. The options are yes, no, and I love you. Okay? The you being me. All right? I get to quote Blair for a second time tonight. Filament is from Hail of Our Granddaddy. Bloodwall is from the Orc Deity. Okay, read that. Yes, injured and barely, but yes. What's up, Cheeky? Andy, hello. I may or may not have watched the Overture like 4 times, and I learned something new and caught something Brennan foreshadowed every single watch. Nice. You need to do a running list of those things and then pass it on to me, and I can try to make a video out of it. Like, things you probably didn't notice were foreshadowing. Something like that. Let's see. Loxley, hello. Oh, wait, I already said something, I think, with you. Rock Esports Center, what's up, dude? Welcome back. Leith Allen says, I think King Gus is going to rock everyone's beep. Which Seba do you think will retreat with King Gus after the attempt, or is it possible Thiazi was trying to restore divine magic by creating a gate? I don't know what Thiazi was trying to do. In terms of who may go with King Gus, I would imagine some of the soldiers, but I think the tables or the groups are going to change up. Which feels odd given the fact that like they just released shirts with the people's faces on them. So now I'm a little less certain about that, but hope he survives. I want to see more of Timony and the King's Hounds. I don't want them all to be sad boys when we do. Agreed. I don't want Hawthorne to be sad. Blood paint, orc blood, or filament. Why not both? Yes, he will survive. Hello, cat. He's a soldier forced to be a king. He finally gets a soldier again. He's going to go off. I agree with that. Yes, he survives, but if he doesn't, he'll come back as the king hound. That would be sick. Yes equals live. Okay. Well, now we have the poll. So, right now, with 57 votes, we have will King Gus survive the night? 75% say yes. 14%. I'm sorry, the numbers changed. 75% yes. 16% no. 10% I love you. Shout out to the 10%. I'm just a little sad that I'll be watching tonight's episode a day or two late. Oh, you have to tune in to go to work or whatever, Astri? I'm hoping he'll survive the night. I agree. Thinking make it so. I completely agree. The Lettuce Dragon says, coin flip update. It was Tails, which is, I'd admit he's not going to make it, but I sure hope he does. For unnecessary fight. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, yeah, it was the blood well that they found. The blood was meant to give Tanzil Celestial the scent of hunting in Asgard. That's right. That's right. My coin flip says no, but my heart says yes. Eugenie says it was orc blood used as an offering to Asgard, repurposed as a scent lure for the Draconis ritual, and finally, my Mara and theology to remove its effectiveness. Yes. But I still think that's what they have. So then it's a matter of how does it work now, right? Can I imagine I love you is in Patrick Starr's voice? Absolutely. Watching Gus is really strong character-wise, like CR18. That'd be crazy, Kevin, but I support it. Sleepstar says, the most important question is, will the schemers be blamed for the king's death, specifically Murray? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Again, that's why I think so many things could be shaken up tonight. Is will they be blamed? Will they be able to stay? Will they be caught? Will the Cormorants find out it wasn't the Draconis who did that, or that it was the Draconis? Like, who are these two houses going to start fighting while this nation starts to fight the Sundered houses or the Halavars? Like, there's just so many things that could come to fruition tonight to kind of dictate what the future looks like. So it's very exciting. It's very exciting. I mean, because not only, guys, we have to kind of realize this, not only is this the ending of the Schemers' first arc, it is the ending of the first arcs. All of the stuff we've been learning, all of the stuff we've been seeing across the tables for the last 20 episodes, this is the ending of it tonight. So pretty exciting. What's up, dude? Hype for tonight. I have a crazy feeling Hal might get sacrificed at the play. Ooh, they need Gus to be super strong to balance out the fight. Agreed. Do we think the Schemers revealed their allegiances tonight? I mean, I think if it comes down to it, like I said earlier, I think if it's between like fighting the Halavar Photarch or fighting King Gus, they better fight the Photarch. They better be on the side of King Gus. That's my take. I'm going to also throw it out there again, guys. If you have not already clicked the subscription button, go ahead and click that. It's free. If you like Critical Role, Dungeons and Dragons, and other nerd culture content, please click that subscription button. If you want to support me trying to stay full-time covering Dungeons and Dragons, Critical Role, and other stuff, consider becoming a member here on YouTube. It's a cup of coffee a month, $5 a month to become a member. You won't get ads on my videos, and it'll help me do what I do. So consider becoming a member. You can also subscribe to my Patreon, linked in the description. Join the Discord, also linked in the description. We do a Critical Role live chat where everybody talks about the episode as it's on, so you can hang out there, chat about stuff, chat between the episodes to talk about different theories or pieces of art. There's also a Louise Questions channel. I'm interviewing Louise. If you want to go in and post a question, you can join. There's a channel for that. You can pose a question that may or may not be asked during the interview. So there's all that stuff. But definitely click the sub button. I said earlier, but Gus has to be tough. I don't think King, made by his own hand and arm on, would be easily beaten. Think of the tragedy of a king from another country that dies at a gala he wasn't meant to be at. True. One of the hounds will take the shot. Rex, that would break my heart. But also, it would be epic, Rex. So I'm kind of cool with that. Not cool with it, but you know what I mean. AVPH says, I try and watch CR 2 or 3 times, pick up what I missed when I watched it during its premiere. That's so many hours. How do you manage? I wonder if everyone will meet up at house play. Yeah, that's what I think the common theme most people believe is. The blood was anathema to the Stone of Night song. Blood versus bone will be next. Do you think hair, skin, organs? I don't know if any of that will be there. That'd be crazy. Louise says, my personal guess is that the pain is supposed to be a reverse Stone of Night song. Like the original helps with the part of crossing to the death realm. The pain might be the opposite. Yeah, somebody had said something like that. We talked about it earlier. It could be letting people, so having people return versus go. Night song helped guide people there. If this is the reverse, maybe it takes people out. I see Gus as a Conan type guy. Maybe he's a barbarian. I support that. I love the drama if they blamed Murray. Chelsea says, I still have a thought on Thiazi died to go fight in the after realm, but is setting something up to be brought back during the play. Yeah, so I think there was a plan for something else, and then when Mara flew over and he looked up and they probably had a little message back and forth, he realized he needed to die. Like he was like, oh, so this is the plan. I've got to go into the afterlife. And that's what ended up happening. Which is why he didn't break the fake glyph. Secret has the antidote for Sid, so both has been in the same place for that. Will they be outed as a group? They are moving in unison in combat. Their connection can be... Right now, Hal's still downstairs, isn't he? I'm guessing they might find a way to bring Thiazi back with a paint. That's why they didn't make too much of a fuss about dying. They won't be outed. They may interfere in accidental ways. At the same time, it would be expected for the people responsible for party to step in during an altercation. So Belair is covered there, if anything. Oh, yeah, if it's kind of his Gala. Kevo says, I think one of the schemers' cover is going to be blown. Azune seems the most self-sacrificing in that regard. He's definitely the most self-sacrificing. No doubt about that. I believe an attack by unknown assassin could easily be argued and not potential outing of the group. True. And it's, looking like, doesn't mean it is, but it's looking like it's the Argosians. So Reed says, Sleep Starve says, Brennan is all about killing the dog, so he might. Better be in a cool way. Has anyone else been envisioning the photog essentially as... Yes, I said that after her first little thing down when she revealed the Celestial, or the first time when she was in the room with Tayor or something like that, and soon as he left, she was different and all that. The whole, her being just this political genius and all that, I really enjoy. What's the twist? If you listen to Wizards Witch, Wild One, every chapter ending was insane to predict, and twist from Brennan was always a beep. Skip what I watch, and it's good for background noise for cleaning up or just filling up air. Hey, fair enough. Fair enough. Famine says, do I want Gus to die? Not at all. However, I think storytelling-wise, it makes more sense for him to die than live to me, the new spark to get a nation to rebel. Cheeky says, do we think the show was sold out because of the pariah blades ringing, inspiring the orcs, or something bad like a faction of this chaos buying up seas to fill? I think it's more likely the first and the second, but I don't even think it's that. I think it's just people want to go to the play. I think people are just excited to go to the play. I think that it's well-known. Hal is well-known in the city. It has a ton of people in it. We also don't know the exact seating numbers of the theater, I don't think. Or maybe we do. So I don't know if there's a particular reason other than it's just a cool place, right? Eugenie says, I think the paint is just an amplifier that helps whichever faction controls it. Instructions to Thiazi were to keep it hidden. There are other components needed first for his plan. Yeah, I don't know if it by itself does something. I think there does need to be a little bit more to it. Something needs to activate it or interact with it or something like that. Greenbone Saga says, given how much they talk about rebirth not working in this world, I feel like it would be odd for Thiazi to plan on it. That's also true. That's also very true. Yo, what's up, Tahoe? Let's see. The Lettuce Dragon says, if you had to pick one villain to be the main villain, who would you pick? Right now, it would probably... my mind immediately goes to 3 options, right? My mind goes to 3 people. Primus Draconis, Photarch Ynessa Halavar, and Rowan, the Trickster Goddess, because she might actually still be alive in some way. So those are the 3 that pop into my head. Because they're currently there. But who knows? Maybe Asgra gets to come back and they have to fight Asgra. Something crazy. I think that this attempt will be pinned on House Cormorant or Draconis, as Cormorant are the weakest and Draconis the most active. Eugenie says, here's my chaos theory. The paint will break the seals on the Celestial, setting it free, where it rampages the city a little before fling, setting up second story arcs. Which, I mean, the fact that, again, the thing was going to be a scent that let them track the person, and so if that blood is then there, maybe it smells it and is like, boom, I'm going to kill that thing, right? Like, so maybe then the Celestial runs out there and starts killing and slaughtering and doing all that stuff. I could see that. It was a Thiazi simulacrum, not actually him, because Thiazi is the BBEG and has been scheming the schemers. I think I would hate if Thiazi was the BBEG. Oh, the Stone of Night song could activate the paint. That would be interesting. I don't know how I feel about that, but it could be interesting. And again, that would assume the Seekers make it back in time for that to be in play at all, right? Daniel says, Primus has to be the main villain. For now, the Photark is the only one that comes close as an alternative. Yeah. For now, yes. 100% for now. Now, will that change? Probably, right? Like, it is very likely that Primus Draconis is not going to be the big bad through the entire campaign, at least not in his current form. Like, perhaps he ends up getting, like, becoming a deity himself or something like that. I could see that. Yeah. Let's see. Renee on TikTok says there's no way the giant gnashing angel is not one of the BBEGs. I think is a boss or like a big fight. BBEG to me is like, again, like the whole boss of like a campaign sort of thing, or at least a large part of a campaign. And I think the Celestial, if it's going to be something they fight, is going to just be more of like a hard fight, not like a BBEG. That's at least how I kind of view it right now, but who knows as it continues. Pirates says, a theory. Remember how Belair had that stomach flop feeling when he was in the Hallowed Round earlier? What if one or more of his masked siblings come through any rift created? Yeah, didn't he say that it was like there was something under the Hallowed Round though? And then we have that, right? Didn't he feel something like beneath? And when you combine that with the Zune's dreams of like something slumbering in the earth or something like that, what if, guys, what if a dragon bursts through the Hallowed Round? And even crazier, what if a dragon bursts through wearing a mask? Crazy. Crazy. The Pariah Blade could activate the paints as well. They are tied to Asgra in a way, you know, like they're the weapons that killed him. So maybe the blood that was meant as like an offering to him is triggered by that, yeah. Pirate Steve says theory part 2. Termina's in a place that closely resembles the Tenebrous Reaches already. Okay, kind of like a god's middle ground sort of thing. I could see that. I could support that. Promise Draconis equals Saruman and Lord of the Rings. Okay, kind of like that pre-boss. Renee says, I have a feeling that it's going to be similar to End of Campaign 3 with multiple final fights. Oh, for sure. By the end of it. I just don't think it's going to be the very end when they finally fight a Celestial. I think that time's going to come before that. Daniel says, do we think that anything happens to House Kids or Elodie during the fight? No. Because they would either have to come upstairs or they would have to, like, the fight would have to go downstairs. But I'm also not ruling it out. I mean, that would be something. So I'm not ruling it out at all, but I'm also not like, yes, 100%. Did we ever theorize why the coffin reacted to Thimble's name? My guess is that it was just the password that was given. Like whatever locked it was that. But no, like other than that, I don't know that we have a lot to go off of, to be honest. Try to think on how Brennan usually makes his campaigns and the villains he uses. Let's see. Lettuce Dragon says, I think bringing back the Ozzy while creating some interesting possibilities would largely take away from the player character stories. He just has too much main character energy. I agree with that. I think him like fighting alongside them in the afterlife or coming back, sharing some stuff, and then having to like go again or sacrificing himself for real this time, something like that could be cool. But if he just, I agree that he has a lot of main character energy because he is like the guy, you know? T-Mac crashes the premiere. Exactly. Dragon looks like orc meat's back on the menu, boys. Love that. Love that. Eugenie says, what if when the Shapers took over, they eliminated the dragons and Dragonborn? What if there are scattered dragon eggs waiting to hatch and awaken? I support it because I think Azune's got something with dragons. They coated the swords with paint already. Oh, that's true, Rex. That is true. They're painted. Straight up Chromar Conclave. Dalmakiar. Yep. The coffin was a thing that was remade recently. Couldn't the Aussie have said that? But yeah, it was graded. He said it was like 10 years old. Something like that. The coffin was like 10 years old. Double says, don't forget to drop back and leave a like on the stream. That's right, guys. Make sure you give a thumbs up right below. Go ahead and click that. Also subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. I think it'll make Hal more afraid for the fact that the kids are so close to the fight. Well, he already told Elodie, like, I think stuff's about to go down, and when stuff goes down, I want you to take the kids somewhere. Now, she was like, show me where they couldn't find me, but either way. Capitalism will 100% be the villain following Brennan logic. Yeah. Didn't Piscard say something about the box being a fake relic, like it was a forgery? I don't know if it was that. He talked about it. And it's saying that it isn't like the piece, like it's a fake of a, I don't even know if he said fake or something, but like part of a greater set. It itself is like not the artifact or something. But maybe he was just hinting that like the box wasn't the artifact because what was really the artifact was the mask, and he said a set. So then it's like, okay, is he talking about the masks? Is he trying to reuse the masks to trap something else? Maybe. The Aussie with a Force Ghost save when Hal gets in trouble in battle. I'm pretty new to D&D. I thought it was so cool how Theozzy is basically the centerpiece tying all the characters together. Yeah, no, it was a great way to like have this many players like coming together. You know, like giving them a common reason. I thought Lamy might be the thing beneath the city. Okay. Yeah, I could see where your mind goes with that. Eugene McCall, hello, welcome in. Says, I think Azune or one of his parents have tricked Azune into living as a human by using alter self. Yeah, I think there could be some dragon stuff in there. I support that theory. Isn't the coffin made of the same stuff as a Stone and Night song? I don't know. Brendan Transigos BBG being a capitalist bird. What's up, SM? Question. Is this a finale before a break or finale before they regroup? This is a finale before they break and they regroup. So each arc had about 7 episodes. This is the final arc of the Schemers, and they were the third group of 3. So Soldiers went, completed their arc. Seekers went and completed their arc. Schemers went. Tonight they complete their arc, and the whole first arc is ended. All 3 tables will have concluded their arcs. They all regroup on May 21st. They take next week off. May 21st, they regroup, and then they're all back together again, and then I'm sure they're going to break back off into groups and go their separate ways. But they will be regrouping. Capitalism is already a villain, shutting down selling magic in the marketplace to force the hands and wheel to work for them, whether they wanted to or not. Well, that's more, like, to me, some of that isn't, it's more about control of magic. Right? Which, I mean, you could tie into capitalism, I guess. Like, you control the means, you know, yada, yada, yada. But, yeah. I think it's more, they're trying to make, again, same reason why, like, they want to get involved in the school, because they don't want to get rid of the, they don't want wizards to learn magic. They want sorcerers, like the natural to be it, right? Eugenie says, the coffin plus Termina is the first bridge to the afterlife, but it's unstable, hence Termina hopping out on occasion before diving back in. Maybe she tried to kill the Fairy King, cause the doors close. Ooh, that'd be interesting, that last part. Francis, hello, welcome in. I don't think it will be a fight, but more of a time event with how it was planned by last episode. You mean like what we're starting with the initiatives? You don't think it'll be like a fight, but more of a like, can they stop the bolt going off? Deb says, my big question is, if the Aussies so desperately wanted to keep Hal out of shady business, then why get him involved now? Is it just circumstance, or is he more needed than we know? I imagine it was just I can't do it anymore and things are going south. So you know what? You got to get involved. That's my guess. Rex says the boxes build by different other artifacts. Yeah, like the plates or whatever. One Shot Joy Productions, hello. Do you think they will use a Sword of Night Song to cast Speak with Dead on Thjazi's body? I think that boat has sailed. I think it's still maybe possible, but I also think that would share entirely too much information. And my guess is that something is going to have stopped it. Like, it's going to be like maybe the Orcish rituals make it so the body can never be disturbed again. Right? And so you won't be able to do it. Like, I'm going to guess that even if they said, wait, we have the Sword of Night Song, let's talk to him, that something would prevent it. That's my best guess. Does anyone else get a Dragonlance War of the Lands vibe from the current storyline? I'm unfamiliar, so. Capitalist Bird would definitely be a bald eagle. Thinking make it so. I can't wait till they all get together again. I love to see all the different interactions and matching and all the new information from everyone. I just hope we don't have to watch them all tell each other everything all the time. Like, every bit of it. Sean West says, I hope this scheme, the themes are deeper than some weak capitalism bad thing. I think it will have parts of that, as, you know, it makes sense to when you have, like, people vying for power and, like, domain over others. But I think there's going to be plenty more than that. The Stuff That Claps says, kiss, marry, kill each party. Seekers kill, marry schemers, kiss soldiers. Easy. Easy. Could the she, Lame mentioned, be Hollis's mistress? Perhaps, Comrade Bobcat. I look forward to the second arc. Second parts of trilogies are always better. That's one way to view it. Sleep Starved Nerd says, I know I'm in the minority, but I think it would be cool if Azune was actually a dragon that the Aussie trapped in human form and implanted false memories. That would be insane. The Aussie was trapping dragons years ago? WB says, bald eagles are known to steal prey from weaker birds, such as ospreys. It's true. Okay. All right, Francis. I mean, that could be it. Maybe they can stop it. Maybe they can't. How long until the Warriors are going to be back? The Soldiers table, they are probably back May 21st. So they're taking next week off. May 21st, the Soldiers should be back. Do we still expect table swaps for the second arc? It feels like they're going to stick with the groups for a while. So, of course, I was like, absolutely, they're going to swap. There's going to be table swaps. And then they released merch with all their faces. So, like, soldiers, boom. Schemers, boom. And now I'm like, wait, are they going to stick together? Or are the shirts just only going to apply to the first arc? So now I'm confused. Now I'm confused. I have to believe it's a part of the plan to keep Hal in the dark. I cannot wrap my head around Thjazi not having a contingency plan to pass on knowledge to Hal in the event things go south. One bolt won't take down a hardened war, but that's the other thing I thought is like, narratively, sure, he could have a single bolt go in and be like a poison bolt or something, right? Narratively, Brennan could let it kill him, right? I think there's nothing wrong with that, or else D&D becomes really silly if you can't allow narrative things to happen like that, because the players will always walk in, cure wounds, and it's all over, right? Every time. Like, you can never have somebody die meaningfully, not be able to be healed, resurrected, or whatever, because D&D has so much of it, so much of that stuff. So, like, yes, traditionally, one bolt won't take down the hardened warrior. But if Brennan said it strikes him in the heart and he dies, it had a toxin on it, I'm not going to be like, no, he wouldn't have died to that. I'm going to let it happen because you have to, right? Or else, again, nobody can die. So, I think it's just the way it has to be sometimes. Like, you just have to do that. I had a character in my game that was like, they died and they were struck with this magic that basically made it so even if you brought back their physical body, you couldn't bring back their soul. Like, it was destroyed in such a way that it wouldn't work. And so that's how I kind of countered that, because I knew that they would just be like, oh, we just bring them back. We just bring them back. And so nothing can ever happen. My guess is that the running theme will be unchecked wealth and power are bad. Imagine we'll get more table swaps in the second arc. I hope so, but I'm with those shirts now. I'm like, oh, I don't know. If they do recap everything, then the Seekers will be the shortest recap because they literally did nothing. They did stuff. They did stuff. I would totally kiss and marry all of the soldiers personally. Fair enough. This entire episode could be combat like episode 10 was. That would just have a lot of different people in there. Warning to chat for those that don't know, Brennan has a thing for birds. There may be a lot of them in this game. He pointed out during the whatchamacallit that they are not He actually doesn't have a crazy thing for birds. It just got blown out of proportion. Something like that, right? It was in the charity stream where he was sitting down and talking with Sam. I really hope they swap tables. Me too, Allie, because the Seekers need it. I'm just saying, the Seekers need it. The Seekers need to swap. There needs to be some change-ups. So we'll see what happens, but Attack of the Rosette Spoonbills. Have we seen the BBG yet? If there is one. No one bring this probably. Well, I don't know. I don't know if we've actually seen it. I think there's some that are set up for now, but I don't know if we've actually seen like the BBEG. Like right now, you'd have to say it's probably Primus. Yena, hello, welcome in. Wasn't there a Minotaur in there somewhere? In the hype video for this table, there was a monster in the fight. I don't remember. I don't remember. A proper assassin could 100% one-shot the king. Yeah, Alien Poot. I think it's, what a name, by the way, Alien Poot. I think, again, there are possibilities, but you can always make the argument that, like, you know, assuming he has 150, 200 hit points, like, one-shotting him is going to be really hard. Yo, what's up, to Spell Logic? We are going to start wrapping this up. This normally ends in about 3 minutes for me. Again, if you are new here and you have not already clicked the sub button, please click the sub button and give this video a thumbs up. I do these every Thursday, so if this is your first time, every Thursday, 7:45 p.m. Eastern, we go live for 2 hours for the pre-show. Let me catch up on these chat messages. Does Cure Wounds replace a skull? No. Well, I mean, it depends on whose game you're in. Louis says, maybe they'll make a fake attempt on killing the Photarch, blame Gus, and have members on the group accomplices. Oh, that could be an interesting play. Even though the stuff they wrote did say that it was pointed at the heart of him. Hey, Allie, thank you for re-upping your membership. Thank you. Which I'll also say, if you guys want to support the stream, become a member. There's that. Or if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have Twitch Prime, which means you can subscribe for free at twitch.tv/nerdcoregg. So go over there and give me your Prime sub. Do you think the Photarch would allow herself to be shot and blame King Gus for an attack line when the house is united against Timony? Mgatch, so in I've read this a couple times. Let me see if I can pop it up. So this is the Lore Keeper's Ledger, and I apologize for sharing this. This is Beacon Paywall, and I probably shouldn't share this, but here we are. It specifically says there's a crossbow bolt aimed at the heart of the King of Timony. So unless this is like they released something about a lore drop and they gave us wrong lore, the King of Timony is the one being shot, not the Halobars. So yeah. That's where I'm at with that. All right, I'm gonna fly through this chat so we can end this on time. The shirts for the dinner tables look good. I prefer the soldiers and schemer shirts myself. The Aerocast would turn to stone. He was absolutely trivializing his history with birds. It was way more things than the one game challenger episode, like he claimed. Oh, fair enough. Got to love that it has grown to what it is now, though. Love making those bird forms for the table talk form. No, I think it's awesome. I think it's cool regardless. Rocky Sports says, I feel like the Pantheon gods are the BBEG as the Sundered Houses attempt to become more godly. It brings them back. The villain you know since the beginning. I could see it. Nurse Jojo, hello. There will probably be a tailgate episode on Tuesday. Yes, they did say there's going to be a tailgate as well. So there is going to be more content from them. Seeker's Table felt so long compared to the others because it was the way that it was done. Stormbless, what's up? I'm fine with a dice-based good death. I hope BLM don't kill him off as a part of the story. I would like some more interactions with him. Me too. I really like King Gus. Oh, I didn't end the poll. I'm going to end the poll at 126 votes. We have 68% say King Gus will survive, 25% say no, and 7% love me. King Gus will die, but it'll be after he and whoever goes with him back to Timony, allowing for narrative training arc and story progression while creating the needed political tension. There's a Minotaur miniature in the screenshots from the trailer. Oh, okay. Kevin says the new tables may get new names. Maybe tables get actual code name in the games. Now there's an organized group more or less. Yeah, maybe it's just the group as a whole. Seekers had that friction. I definitely started feeling some tension with schemers. Denathan says, I feel like the other family member mentioned when Oxos was in the ritual is the end boss, the one that said, what have you done? Oh, like the great-grandfather or something like that. All right, guys, no more new messages. We got to wrap this up. It is time. Yep. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I appreciate you. Thank you for the new members. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the new subs. If you haven't already, sub. We'll do this again. Expect plenty of content coming. Join the Discord if you want to talk about it. It's linked in the description below. Jump in there. Live chats. There's a channel to pose questions to Louise and all that sort of stuff. Sergio, welcome in. Other people, these are some of you I'm seeing for the first time. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, enjoy the episode. This is going to be a banger, so I'm looking forward to it. Look for a lot of content coming out over the next week, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your night.